In one town there was an old tower. It was said that if in the evening, before sunset, look into the only intact window of the tower, you can see another town in it, and everything there is made of gold. It was also said that through the window of the tower you can get into that golden town. Then you need to grab some golden thing and quickly get back out before the inhabitants of the golden town catch you. And if they catch you, they will bury you alive in a golden coffin. A boy was passing by the tower one evening and saw a bright light in the window. He came closer, looked through the window, and saw the golden town in the window. The walls and roofs of houses in this town were made of gold, and right next to the window, the boy saw a little girl who was playing with gold bars as with ordinary stones. There was no one else to be seen nearby. The boy quickly climbed into the window, jumped down, ran up to the girl, grabbed the gold bars, and immediately ran back. But when he climbed to the window, his hometown was no longer in the window. The boy looked back and saw that the girl was standing and looking at him. "You can't get back," the girl said. "Everyone who came from there could not return." The boy climbed down from the window to the ground. "So now they will bury me in a golden coffin?" he asked. The girl nodded. "Why are you doing it?" said the boy. "Do you feel sorry for the gold?" "I'll give it back." And he handed the girl gold bars. "No, not because of the gold," said the girl. "You came from the dead town, and you yourself are dead. That means you need to be buried. After all, the dead do not live with the living." "But I'm alive," said the boy. "You're dead." The girl shook her head. "Look at your hands." The boy looked at his hands and saw that they were the hands of a dead man. He got scared and started crying. People began to come out of the golden houses. They looked at the boy and were already carrying the golden coffin. "It's a pity that you're dead," said the girl. "Otherwise we would have played with you. But I'm alive." The boy began to shout, "I just need to go back. Let me go." But the people from the golden town did not listen to him. They caught the boy, put him in a golden coffin, and nailed the lid shut with golden nails. Once upon a time, there was a girl. One day she became very sick, and her mom and dad took her to the hospital. Doctors tried for a very long time to cure the girl, but could not. "Our medicines don't help," the doctor told Mom and Dad. "Your girl will die soon." Mom didn't say anything to the girl, but she herself understood everything when she saw her mother's tear-stained eyes. The girl was transported to another hospital where other dying children were kept. The food there was delicious. Children could play all day long and didn't have to do homework at all. But there were still no happy children, and if one day one of the children did not show up anymore, then everyone understood what had happened, although they pretended as if nothing had happened. Some children died quickly, and to some it took a very long time. And those who did not die for a long time knew many terrible stories about a black shadow that comes during the day to take one of the children, about death that comes at night, sits on the chest and sits, becoming heavier every second, until the one she lands on does not die. Sometimes an eyeless old woman came and pulled life from the body like a rope until she had pulled it all out, and from others death would cut life off in slices like a butcher. And this was the most terrible and painful of all. There was also death hiding in a dark corner on the ceiling. This was the easiest death and The children put a saucer of milk in her corner, hoping that she would come for them. "It falls from above and kills instantly," said one boy. "You will still be walking and moving your legs, but you yourself already dead for a long time, ... double quotes. "Has it ever happened that someone recovered here?" the girl asked one day. "Even doctors don't talk about this," answered the girl with chalk-white skin, which is why she was nicknamed the Snow Queen. "No one returns from here." But the other boy objected. "Unless you can get black apples. But they don't recover from them. On the contrary, they hide their death there," replied the Snow Queen. "And what are these black apples?" the girl asked. The boy did not answer, only showed his crossed arms. This meant that such things could not be talked about. But after waiting until the boy was alone, the girl approached him and asked, "Tell me about black apples." The boy looked around and said quietly, "Do you know what is behind our hospital? There is an old swamp there. In the past, it is said, witches used to live there, and now you can sometimes see them if you die very soon, but this rarely happens, ... double quotes. He was silent for a moment and continued, "There is a quagmire there in the swamp, where black apples grow under the water, at the very bottom. If you get an apple, you need to carry it with you for 1 day and 1 night, and then your death will pass into the apple, and you will not die, but only until the apple dries, and black apples dry up for a long time, sometimes 10 or even 20 years. And if you water them with swamp water, then even longer ... How to find this quagmire? It is the deepest, and the water in it is so black that if you look into it, you will not see your reflection. But the quagmire is so deep that not everyone will swim to the bottom. And even if you swim and find the black apple, you won't have enough air to get back. But someone did. Otherwise, how did they know about these black apples?" The boy shrugged his shoulders and said, "One day a boy was brought here. He practiced swimming. So he went to the swamp and brought from there 3 black apples, one for himself and to be given as a gift. All 3 recovered and went home. Only one boy was later brought back. His mother threw away the black apple and set death back. The girl did not want to die and decided to go to the swamp. She read in one book that in the old days, pearl divers used to dive with a large stone in order to sink to the bottom faster. The girl found a suitable stone, put it in her bag, and the next morning she secretly left the hospital and went to the swamp. She wandered there for a long time, looked into the quagmire, but could not find one where her reflection was not visible. She was about to return to the hospital when she finally saw a quagmire with water so black that it seemed as if there was not water, but tar. The girl looked into the quagmire, but saw nothing but blackness. Then she threw the bag with the stone into the pool and dived after it, holding on tightly to the handles. "How will I see black apples in this darkness?" The girl thought. The stone sank to the very bottom. The girl turned her head, but could not see anything in such darkness. Then she let go of the handles of the bag and began to search by touch. And almost immediately her hand came across something hard and round. The girl grabbed the black apple tightly, pulled it, and immediately began to float up. The apple turned out to be heavy and pulled her down, and the algae seemed to not want to let her out of the quagmire. But still the girl slowly floated up. She already saw the light above. There was just a little bit left. I made it, I did it, the girl thought joyfully. But suddenly something grabbed the girl's leg and pulled her down strongly. Out of surprise, the girl almost released the black apple. She looked down, and she saw pale hands reaching out to her from the dark depths. These were the hands of dead children, those who also dived into the quagmire for black apples, but failed to surface. Now the dead children did not want to let the girl out of the quagmire. The girl kicked the hand that grabbed her with all her might and rushed upwards. She pushed herself out of the water and crawled away from the black quagmire. Dead children swam near the surface, looked from the depths with black eyes, like fish opening their black mouths, but could not get to the girl. And the girl sat at the edge of the quagmire and cried. After all, when she got out of the quagmire, she let go of her black apple out of her hands. One boy moved with his mom and dad to a new city. Neighbors immediately warned them, "Do not go to the old cemetery. People sometimes disappear there." But in the yard the boy had not yet had time to make friends with anyone. So he went to look at the old cemetery. "I'll just watch from a distance," he thought. From afar, the cemetery was the most ordinary. There was nothing terrible about it. The boy sighed disappointedly and was about to go home when he suddenly noticed children playing. Children, a boy and a girl, built the camp. They dug a large hole, covered it with boards, leaving a small hole to climb inside, and now they covered the ground on top of the board so that no one could see their camp. The children were carried away by the game and did not notice the boy who was carefully watching the construction. But then the girl turned back and saw that they were being watched. She waved her hand for the boy to come closer. The boy came up. "Who are you?" she asked. "We haven't seen you here before." "I recently arrived," said the boy, "from another city." "What is your name?" asked the girl. "Elijah," said the boy. "And you?" "Agnes," said the girl, and waved her hand at her friend and his. "Artis, he is my brother." "Do you want to build an underground bunker with us?" asked Artis. Turning around, he stretched the letter S strangely, and Elijah saw that his eyes were of an unusual yellow color. But in other respects, Artis was no different from other boys. "I want to," Elijah answered, and began to help them. When they completed the bunker, Agnes said, "When the grass grows here, the bunker will not be visible at all." Artis nodded, wanted to say something, but suddenly froze, throwing up his head as if listening to something. "It's time for us," he said after a while. "Mother calls us for dinner." "Will you come again?" asked Elijah. "Let's go with us," Agnes suddenly suggested. "We'll eat and come back here together." "Can I?" Elijah rejoiced. Artis shrugged, but Agnes grabbed Elijah by the arm and pulled her along. "Come on, don't be afraid. It's very close." And they went to the cemetery. "Do you live behind this cemetery?" asked Elijah. "Yes," said Agnes. "Aren't you afraid to walk here?" Elijah, for some reason, became scared. "No," said Artis. It's so old. There hasn't been anyone here for a long time." The cemetery really wasn't scary at all. The graves were overgrown with grass, and small lizards basked on wooden crosses. Artis grabbed one and put it on his hand, showing it to Elijah. "There are a lot of them here," he said, "but they don't bite." The mother of Agnes and Artis was not surprised when she saw Elijah with them. "We have guests," she said, and put the third plate on the table. She also had yellow eyes, like Artis, and she also spoke the letter S in an unusual way. She was very beautiful and moved smoothly, as if there was not air around, but water. She looks like a lizard, only very big and very beautiful, Elijah thought for some reason. Then they ate something tasty, but Elijah could not understand what it was. And after eating, he suddenly felt very sleepy, and he probably fell asleep right at the table, because he suddenly saw that the mother of his new friends had a tail. Of course, Elijah gasped. She's also a lizard, and he saw that Artis also had a tail. Probably Agnes has a tail too, thought Elijah. And right in a dream, Elijah fell asleep again, and he dreamed of distant times when lizard people lived everywhere. But the ape people came and started killing the lizard people because they were very afraid of them, and they killed almost all of them. Elijah woke up, but fell into another dream, and he dreamed that someone else appeared inside him, very similar and not at all like Elijah. This stranger looked with yellow eyes, and he had a tail like a lizard, and he fed on Elijah, eating him from the inside. I'm just a cocoon, Elijah realized, for the lizard man. He'll eat me and then get out. Elijah wanted to wake up, but could not. All he could do now to see this dream, he won't have any other dreams.